Shiba. Okay, Shiba Inu, checking this out. I did have this drawn up because there was a potential for price to come down to this zone. I haven't looked at this in a few days, but I can see that it came down to the zone but completely broke through it. And then this full bearish engulfing candle here into this zone. Then the next candle rejected the top side and broke below to the downside. So yeah, totally no trade there, sadly. But now price is just sitting above the moving average. You can see yesterday's kind of, wicks on both sides, real heavy. Doesn't really know what it wants to do, but did reject this moving average. So technically it's still bullish. It's above it. So looking for an entry here though. I think what's gonna happen, delete this. So this did form a huge zone here, and I think what'll probably happen is today's candle will actually push this zone down further and then maybe close, and then not too sure what it's going to do after that. As far as like looking at this on the higher time frames, I mean, there is a huge area of resistance here, which kind of makes sense now. You can see like price really held above this area, and then when it broke and then retested and then broke below it, now coming back up to it, you can see heavy, this huge wick into it, heavy rejection, and then this one's massive. So it's really having a tough time breaking this zone. It's I think it's like right around the 1,000 mark. Oh, it's a little bit above. So yeah, but so we really gotta, before it can go higher, it's really gotta break this zone. And then obviously the next one, looking for a trade entry though. I would look for somewhere where there was nice buying support. So like as of right now, you can see it's making lower lows and lower highs. So something like this, down like this, you got this big bearish engulfing candle out of this zone. Now you got some candles coming up, retesting, huge rejection. So yeah, I do think this still wants to go lower. And so I would let this come down lower. And then, I mean, my first kind of, on this 4 hour, the first area that kind of jumps out to me is this one here. So letting price come back all the way down to here before even considering a position. Letting this moving average catch up to function as support as well would be good. So, I mean, maybe if price slowly makes it down to this zone, this moving average will catch up too, and then protect it there. Price is actually crossing over this 1 hour moving average as we speak. Just tested it last hour, and now this hour it's breaking below and seems to be more or less holding down. So yeah, there's I think Shiba's still bullish, but I think it's going to be a bit still before it's worth an entry. I think it just has to come down a lot. If we look at, I'm just curious, it did make a pretty big run up. Did retrace there. I'm trying to see when the last time it pulled back was. Because if we can see last time it pulled back, no, it pulled back there. I mean, it has retraced, really fairly. So unless you're looking at like a weekly retracement, but yeah, then it's coming way down. So possible, but don't know. Yesterday's candle is really weird. So yeah, we'll just have to see. I think it is gonna make its way down, just at least to this zone, maybe further. There's a zone here that this is probably the most relevant zone that currently exists. And it's not great, and I don't know how accurate it still is, but we'll see what happens if price makes it down here, because this is really our best bet. You can just see it's got the most wicks in it on both sides. So that's kind of what we have to wait for Shiba before entering. But then, I mean, if price breaks down and comes down into the zone, then it's below the moving average on the daily. So don't usually like to go against the daily moving average. It just usually results in bad situations. But we'll see. I can't really do much until then, so I just have to play it out. But I do like this as a bullish play. I mean, you can just see like the overall daily structure is still very bullish. It hasn't really made lower highs or lower lows, and still until it starts doing that, then I'm still going to consider it bullish. So I'll still look for a buy if it comes down to this 900 level, especially. I like whole numbers, so I think that's what I'm going to wait for. Wait for it to come down to 900 here, or if it finds support before, then great. Might look for a position there, but I'll need price to cross over the 1 hour moving average to the upside before taking any position. So it could still be a few days for sure. It's nice that these cryptocurrencies are open on the weekend too, so it gives it more time to move. They don't move a ton on weekends, but at least they move a bit, so it keeps it consistent. And we'll just have to check back in a few days and see if anything sets up and see if there's any entries worth taking. So that is Shiba.